2020. I'm calling the meeting of the Human Affairs Committee to order via teleconference. As chairman, or chairwoman actually, of the Human Affairs Committee, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and in accordance with the governor's emergency order number 12, pursuant to Executive Order 2020-04, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, I am confirming that we are providing public access to the meeting by telephone, with additional access possibilities by video or other electronic means. We are utilizing Zoom, and the meeting link can be found in the agenda as well on the city's website. You can also join by telephone by dialing 1-929-205-6099. The meeting ID is 848-2154-4590, and the password is 741343. The public may also view this meeting on Comcast Channel 16. We previously gave notice to the public of the necessary information for access to the meeting through public posting. Instructions have been provided on the City of Nashua's website at nashuanh.gov and publicly noticed at City Hall and Nashua Public Library. If anybody has a problem accessing the meeting via phone or Channel 16, please call 603-821-2049 and they will help you connect. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting via the methods mentioned above, the meeting will be adjourned and rescheduled. Please note that all votes that are taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote. Let's start the meeting by taking a roll call attendance. When each member states their presence, please also state whether there was anyone in the room with you during this meeting, which is required under the right to know law. Alderman Wilshire.
Thank you. Alderwoman Kelly.
I am here.
Alderwoman,
and I'm alone.
Alderman Harriet Gathright.
I am present. I can hear you. I am in the room alone and
Okay.
practicing social distancing.
Alderman Clee. I don't believe she's on. Alderman Karen.
Yes, I am here. I am alone and I can hear everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. And Alderman Wilshire is here. I am alone and I can hear everyone. Social distancing. We have a quorum. We have 4 members present.
I'll just let the record know that both Alderman Clee and Alderman Lopez reached out to me and said they were unable to make the meeting. Okay. Also in attendance, we have Sarah Marchant, our Community Development Division Director, and Dan Hudson. It says Matthew Franks, but you are not that person. It's an engineer here at the city. Okay. Is there anybody who would like to provide public comment for our meeting? Make sure I'm not missing anybody. I don't see any members of the public. Just making sure. Okay. Presentations. There are none. Communications.
There are none.
Unfinished business.
We have none.
New business resolution.
Before us, we have Resolution 20-74 relative to the acceptance and appropriation of $821,500 from the U.S. Department of Transportation Federal Transit Administration into Transit Grant Activity, Buses and Bus Facilities Grant Program. I'll make a motion to recommend final passage of Resolution 2074.
Thank you. The motion is for final passage. Director Marchant, did you want to speak to this?
Yes, thank you. So this is a grant that we applied for in May in the middle of the COVID pandemic, and massive kudos to Camille Pattison, the transportation manager, and her team for pulling this together because it wasn't easy. This grant is specifically to augment the transit center project that is under design right now, final design, to be in construction next year. It's a pretty massive upgrade, but this money will help to fund the cost of construction of renovated, revised bathrooms, very specifically to help make them safer and more accessible, and to discourage some of the illicit behaviors that we have had from the current design. So these will be more like your airport bathroom without the locked door as you enter and exit. And so they'll help fund that improvement. And also, probably more interesting to our ridership, this has the money to provide some significant technology upgrades. So to be able to provide live GTS stream feeds, and essentially we're getting us to a place where you can use an app on your phone to see when the bus is coming. If you've missed it, is it coming to your stop, and where it is. So this is a pretty huge grant for us. And as part of getting it rolling, we were able to secure some escrow funds for the grant match just recently. And the rest of the funds will need to be appropriated with the FY22 budget, which timing wise will work out just fine. So I am here before you for this grant with partial match, and it will have to go to the full board for the multi-year appropriation.
Thank you. Does anyone from the committee have a question? Alderman Wilshire.
Thank you. This is very exciting. And I want to thank your department and your division, Camille, whoever did this, because that's good money. You're not concerned about the FY22, the remaining match that you'll have to budget for?
I am.
Okay. Just thought I'd ask.
Yeah. So we were told we were awarded this grant, and it's a team effort. It's an amazing group. But we were told that we were awarded this grant just at the end of August. So it was after budgeting this year, and feel pretty lucky that we were able to secure part of the funds through the escrow process, because I do understand next year's budget's going to be extremely tight. But it seems like a pretty good value for the dollar, in that 80% of the funds, a little over $1 million, is coming from the federal government total grant. And so over $800,000 is coming for the federal government, and the city will put in just under $200,000. So it's a pretty good bang for the buck to be able to do these improvements.
And they're sorely needed. Thank you for that. I'm all set. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Alderman Wilshire. Are there other questions from the committee? Alderman Gathering. Yep.
I really had the same question about 22, but I know you guys have been at this for a long time, and I'm sure that you've figured out how other things you might apply for to help pay for that, instead of the city as well. But I'm sure we would be able to do a part of that as well come that time. So I'm really excited too that we're going to have such nice locations, such nice bathrooms and everything. That would be great. I know it's been a chore to keep up with all that, and even with the ones that were with the at the parking lot garage. So
Thank you.
I'm excited.
Thank you. June, did you have anything? I can't see if your hand's raised or not. She's quiet. We're gonna go with she's good. I'll just comment similar to the previous speakers. I'm excited for this. I did have one question, but you may not be able to answer this. What happens if we don't come up with the matching funds in the second year?
We will not be able to spend the money. Essentially, we will be going out to bid on this project in the spring anyways. And so we will not have already spent necessarily the 72. And so we will only spend what we have matching funds for. In the past, the state of New Hampshire has stepped up and provided some capital match for capital projects. That is not on the table anymore. And so we'll be in conversations with them as well to see if that comes back on the table at some point. But we'll evaluate what happens. But no, if we don't have the matching funds, we have to give the money back, and it doesn't happen.
Well, thank you. I'm obviously, you've heard positively from these committee members that we're committed to making sure you get that. And I'm sure you have a plan in your head as well. So I was just more interested from a bigger picture what happens. So But thank you for your team for bringing this forward and doing the hard work in the middle of the pandemic.
Welcome.
Okay, would clerk please call the roll? You're on mute, Lori.
Someday I'll get used to that. So the motion to recommend final passage on resolution 2074, Alderwoman Kelly,
Yes.
Alderman Harry Gathright,
Yes.
Alderman Karen,
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire votes yes. We have 4 yeas, 0 nays.
And that motion passes.
Also before us tonight, we have resolution 2075. Relative to the acceptance and appropriation of an additional $7,060.53 from the state of New Hampshire Department of Transportation into DPW grant activity Safe Routes to School, Charlotte Avenue. I'd like to make a motion to recommend final passage of resolution 20-75.
Thank you, Alderman Wilshire. The motion is for final passage, and I believe Mr. Hudson wanted to speak on this piece.
Yes, thank you. So this project is to improve pedestrian safety at Charlotte Ave Elementary School. It involves constructing new sidewalk on the north side of Charlotte Ave between Burgess Street and Mead Street, removing a couple crosswalks and consolidating everybody down to a central crosswalk, which will include a bump out to shorten the crossing distance. We'll be narrowing lanes also to help try to slow traffic down. And then there's some intersection geometry changes at Charlotte Ave and Charlotte Street, trying to tighten up that corner to also make that move occur more slowly. And you probably have already noticed that an all-way stop has been installed there. So these changes we feel will help improve safety of the intersection. DOT had granted us $100,000 previously. We received bids and the cost came in higher than we anticipated, so they've agreed to kick in another $7,000. So, not a lot, but every bit helps. So we look forward to receiving that. Construction underway. We hope to be complete before November 3rd's election. With that, I answer any questions anybody has, but we ask for your favorable support of this.
Thank you, Mr. Hudson. Are there questions from the committee? Alderman Wilshire.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hudson, for that information. So when you talk about this crosswalk, the construction on this project's already started, because I've seen the equipment out there and everything. You're not going all the way down to the 8-foot sidewalk, are you?
No, we're just the new sidewalk is on the north side. There's no sidewalk connecting right there, so it's going to be new segments of sidewalk.
Okay.
There's just only the bump out improvement on the south side, and then spot improvements here and there. And what they've done to date is they've installed drainage, curbing installers are going to come in on Friday, and soon after that you'll see the actual sidewalk going in.
Okay, next question is on that intersection of Charlotte Street and Charlotte Ave where it's all painted red. Is that where you're talking about making a change or another improvement?
Yeah, so the corner was painted red, and that was to try to make people follow a pattern, which we're going to more formalize with curbing. So that'll actually it'll feel tighter with curbing added and bumped out a little bit there. But
I think that's a good thing, because I know I know that traffic goes really fast down that street, and the stop sign I think has been a good improvement there. So thank you for what you're doing over there. I think it's a good improvement.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Are you all set, Alderman Wilshire? Yeah, great. Alderman Harry Gathright?
Oh, no. Alderman Al was the one raising his hand. I think I was just unmuting.
I just took that as you wanted to speak.
Well, the same question could be asked because I think it was in FY22. I don't have it in front of me, but I think the last part of the work was FY22. but you did state that if you ran into a problem, you would ask to extend that to FY23, which I think is a great idea. That's all. Is that correct?
Madam Chair?
Yes. Was that question directed at me? I think it was to
No,
Mr.
at
Hudson.
Mr. Hudson, I think.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
I just didn't know
Sorry,
if June was also asking a question.
Sorry, I misunderstood. The work is occurring this fiscal year, and the money will be this fiscal year. The matching funding's already been appropriated, so there's no issue with match.
Okay. All right.
We should be all wrapping up this fiscal year.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Karen, did you want to speak as well?
Yes, I think this is a great improvement over in that area. I know it's been a long time coming, and I'm glad the DOJ gave us, I should say DOT, gave us the money so that we could get this project done. I agree with Alderman Wilshire that that can be a speed zone constantly. So I think this is great. And Mr. Hudson, I think you've done a great job in getting this done for the kids and before the snow flies. Thank you.
I
Okay.
appreciate that. I just want to give credit to the folks that came before me. I've only been here since December, and Alderman Dowd and others were instrumental in getting the grant applications in, receiving the funding. And it's taken many years to get to this point, but we're finally here in construction. So it's a great project to be able to get completed.
Alderman Wilshire.
Thank you. Since I've been on this committee for a long time, we used to get a lot of money on this safe routes to school. Is there, I mean, it seems to have been years that we didn't get it. Is it competitive, or have we not applied for it every time, or do you know? I mean, I know you're fairly new, but we used to get this safe routes to school money on a more regular basis earlier. I don't know if the funding dried up, but maybe you have an answer.
Sure. So this program is winding down for the federal level. If they've replaced it with some other programs, there's one called Transportation Alternatives, and I know the city's benefiting from these different programs. We're doing some trail work for other bicycle pedestrian improvements elsewhere. So there are always different pots of money, maybe not this specific program, and it is always competitive. And we do try to apply so that we get the city's fair share of that funding.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Are there any other comments? Alderman Dowd.
Yeah, just a couple, just some historical on this. We applied for this money 5 years ago, back when Donna Lee was mayor. And it's taken us 5 years to get the money, but I'm glad it's finally being done. And the concept is, if you went over to Charlotte Avenue right now, there are 3 crosswalks. And the one farthest to the west has been a problem, as cars used to come around that corner too fast. And we've already had, this past school year, one bus that got hit from behind when it was stopped to allow kids to cross. So the concept was that we're only going to have one wider crosswalk in front of the school, and it will go over and to the sidewalk, and the children can go west, actually east or west, so they can get up the side streets without having to cross again. So it's a much safer situation. And the bump out is right where the crosswalk is. Also, there are going to be 2 electronic signs, one on either end of the school on the street, that will indicate that you're speeding. It's a 20 mile an hour during school hours and 30 normally. And I'm strongly considering doing what we did on Beauview and changing it to 25 miles an hour, because the cars are far too fast on that street. Also, I think we did apply for some additional funding in Ward 3, but Patricia, Alderman Klee would have to fill you in on that. She's got the details. I'm not sure if there are any others in the city that we've applied for or waiting for or something, but this has been a long time coming, and I have Dan's assurance that it will be completed so that our city clerk doesn't have anything else to worry about.
Thank you, Alderman Dowd, for that history. 5 years is a long time to be working on this, so I appreciate you and the team moving this forward. Is there anyone else from the committee that has a question or a comment? Okay. Alderman Wilshire, can you please call the roll? You're on mute, Alderman Wilshire.
I spent 5 hours on this, never having to mute myself last night. I'm sorry. 5 hours and 5 minutes. On the motion for final passage of resolution 2075, Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Harriet Gathright.
Yes.
Alderman Karen.
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire votes yes. We have 4 yeas, 0 nays.
And that motion carries. I had to look to see if I was muted. Thank you, Dr. Hudson. I just gave you an upgrade, Mr. Hudson.
Thank you.
Okay, new business ordinances.
We have none.
Tabled in committee.
Nothing.
Would anyone like to offer some general discussion? Alderman Dowd?
Yeah, I just want to know if, for the record, that I was attending the meeting. I didn't hear the clerk call my name.
That is correct. Under other aldermen that were here, Alderman Dowd. Did we miss anybody else? And that was it, right?
That was it.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Thank you.
Alderman Dowd. You're muted.
Oh.
That was actually a technical glitch. I did try to unmute. So we were through general discussion, public comments. I'll check one more time. I don't see anyone from the public on this call. Would any of the aldermen like to give remarks? Lovely. Possible non-public session?
None.
Okay,
I'll make a
Do I have a
motion to
motion?
adjourn.
thank you. The motion on the floor is to adjourn.
On the motion to adjourn, Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Harriet Gathright.
Yes.
Alderman Karen.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Alderman Wilshire votes yes. We have 4 yeas, 0 nays.
Lovely. Much shorter meeting than last night. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
4.5
you.
hours.
you.
short.
Oh, so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.